Hello, my insomniacs, and welcome back to Let's Collect Some Bottles. So in this part, it's 23 minutes of collecting bottles. It's also kind of me testing to see if I can upload videos longer than 15 minutes. I supposedly can, but can I? And why is this pocket so shiny? Because they got some ivory chopsticks. 500 easy gold. Yes, I guess. You know what? Not even a minute into this and I don't know what to talk about. I guess I'll start with the bottle collecting. There are 30 bottles in the level. As you can see now, 1 out of 30. And they're really... they're in pretty obvious places for the most part. There's some interesting placement and design. You know, the levels themselves are pretty interesting. Can I say interesting anymore? Interesting. No, so... As you can see, there are some things... No, I was talking about level design. The level design is quite fascinating. You know, there are multiple tiers and levels. You know, there's like the rooftops. You know, it feels like its own section of the level. It's its own elevation. You know, it's its own location within the level, staying up above everything. You know, and being on like street level. You know. Do you know? Maybe not. That was a pretty good save right there, if I do say so myself. And I probably should also warn you again, this is post commentary for another video. But you know, when you're on street level, you know, it feels cramped. You know, it feels like there's there's an above you and you're in a different location. You know, it's designed well. It feels the way it's supposed to feel. And I appreciate that. Something different about this Sly Cooper game than the other Sly Cooper games, though, is Sly feels heavier. He sticks to things better when you jump and press the circle button. He has better tracking, I guess is what you could call it. But you know what I just realized? The bottle hunting, while also giving you like cool items to help you through the game, is also a way just to get you to appreciate the level. You know, they're placed around so that you have to explore to find them. So that you have to explore to, you know, see things. You have to go to interesting places in the level and see what they put there. That's good. I like that. And here I'm just using them. Well, I don't need to tell you what I'm doing right there. You can see. You can have more faith in you than that. Another interesting tidbit, and I do this later in this episode, is that you can use the game's audio to detect the bottles because they make a clinking noise, like clink, 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 clink. And that's very useful. You can go to the options menu. You can turn down like background music, and you can, you know, adjust the audio mix so that you can just go around the level and hear them. Oh, and also another note about just the way this game feels. There's just more weight in general, not just like Sly's weight, but his hits feel like they have more weight. You know, it just feels like a heavier game. Or maybe the other games just felt like really light games. For bottle hunting, though, I would say your best bet is to, like, section off the game. Or section off the level, not the game. You know, focus on little areas at a time. Don't go into it thinking, I have the whole level to find bottles in. Go into it thinking, like, you can even see as you're going around, like, this kind of little slightly village-esque area, this kind of hamlet, out-of-the-way area. You know, the level design makes it so that it feels like its own place within the level, even though it's all connected. You know, go into it thinking, hey, I'm gonna hang out here and find the bottles here first. And you might be seeing like the little floating statues and golden sparkly things that aren't bottles. I'll be worrying about that later, but I figured one collectathon per episode was fine. And I also, that guard heard me there. He was like, "What? What's going on?" I'm like, "You can't see me." Just the way the enemies are designed in this game, especially the big guards. And something when I was playing this section, picking the specific guy's pocket I thought about was how, in this Sly Cooper game, particularly, the big flashlight guards feel like big, threatening flashlight guards. Like, these pig guys, huge, and definitely threatening. I like it. I like it a lot more, you know? You don't want to be seen by them. And... Oh, sorry about my chair. Completely lost what I was talking about. Big flashlight guards. Well, their field of vision, you know, they can hear around them, evidenced by me breaking the bottle and them hearing me. That's evident, but they can only see in that little flashlight area they have in front of them, which is, it's hilarious. Sorry. It's really leaves for some interesting situations, some pretty funny situations. I don't have any off the top of my head that I show off in this particular video, but you can definitely expect to see that later. Me making use of them not being able to see me. Oh, what I also like about this game is that there are things around the level that just the base exploration dictate that you can't do it the first time you play. Like that wall there, you probably couldn't see it, but it shoots fireballs at you. And you need something later, an upgrade. And like this little basket of arrows, that's something you can make use of only later in the game. Not, you know, so you have to come back to this level specifically, you know, you have to, like, there's replayability just within your first run through the game. That makes me wonder what kind of replayability there is after you beat the game. Maybe just because it's fun. And then I just love the tight roping. All the ropes everywhere in this level makes it feel pretty decently sized. Yeah, and as you can see, we're back at the little hamlet area. I'm trying really hard not to discuss exactly what's going on the screen, because you can see what's going on screen. And there really isn't any rhyme or reason to what I'm doing. I'm just collecting bottles. It ultimately isn't that interesting, but, you know, I, one, want to try to show as much of this game as possible. And, you know, someone might have trouble with the bottle locations themselves if they wanted to play along, or they chose this video to watch. And while I don't have a specific guide, I do collect every bottle in this episode, so maybe it'll help somebody someday. That and the showing off the items you get for bottle collecting. I don't know, it just seems all very relevant to me. This bottle specifically has definitely given me some trouble in the past. Yeah, actually, this this level in general, um, I always dread when I get to 29 bottles and like the 30th isn't in the immediate area when I collect the 29th because I'm like, so this is how it's gonna go again, huh? Gonna have to play this all over again. Or, not play it all over again, but search all over. And right now, I actually don't have the whole volume mishmashy thing going on. I'm really just going by sight, some memory from where I've seen bottles before, where I kind of know how, who's the developer of this game? Sanzaru Games kind of like lays out the bottles. It's not, I mean, they don't try to be jerks about it, but they do try putting them in interesting locations. And this is, I never noticed that that was a hippo before. Like, I've looked at it, I've played this level a ton, but I've never realized that that was a hippo in the fountain eating grapes. That's the things you overlook in life. And then we're getting close to another bottle that I made a mental note of it, and I'm like, I need this bottle! Even though I was in mortal danger because of this monkey. And then the one up there, I don't even think he noticed me looking at it now. This is the great thing about post-commentary. You can be like, wow, I didn't even, when I was playing the game, I had no idea. But that monkey up top didn't even seem to care. And here I'm like, 26 out of 30, we're starting to get there. And then the level design is a little interesting once you've, sorry about that, played the game once or twice, because I mean you can see everything, and your first playthrough or your first time seeing it, you're like, what is that? And on consecutive playthroughs, you're like, huh, interesting. And also, like all these little rat poison containers and whatnot, and parachutes and all that stuff. I really want to know, like, the story about why it's where it is. You know, I understand. I mean, I know where it's from, for the most part, but I don't know why it's just kind of like slung about, why it's so messily around. Like, did someone decide, I can't really talk about it the way I want to because I also don't want to spoil anything, because at this point in time it's kind of spoilers. Kind of. A little bit, I don't know. I'm just gonna trust my instincts, not say anything too dramatic about it, but it seems, yep, and this is where I'm like, oh my. One more bottle. Where are you? And I know where it is now. It's watching through this again, I can think exactly where it is and how I can see that I didn't go there. And it wouldn't have even been a bottle I would miss, I think, if I just thought to walk by there in the first place. But me sitting here now, I'm like, but I've been everywhere. Where could it be? And I'm so upset with myself with how many times I've, like, ran into enemies, but they've had full shiny pockets. But since I was just kind of in the don't really care, I wasn't trying to be sneaky, but you know, happens, it happens. This also makes me realize how long it took me to find this last bottle, and compared to this, well, maybe. I may cut out right here, and if I do, I'll just cut back when we're a lot closer to the bottle. It depends how long it takes me, though. I forget if I do the first mission in this episode as well or not, because I was like, it can't just be a bottle episode. So yeah, we'll see if I do cut it out. Well, yeah, we'll just see. We'll see. And it's gonna be weird because I'm probably not gonna cut this out. It is hot in this room right now. It's kind of unbearable. Kind of midnight too. And I'm just making sure I didn't forget any of the bridge bottles. So, I also really like the concept of this game, or of this series, not this game. Well, I mean, I like the game too. I like time travel. I feel like it opens up a lot of opportunity. But it also makes people kind of divert focus. This is where I decide to mess with the volume so I can hear the bottles. It's pretty funsies. Also turned up my TV volume, and when I first realized how loud it was, I was like, oh no, my ear holes are bleeding. I hear the choir. They're coming. Because there's still a lot of background noise, like the chirping and crickets, and just everything makes noise. It's weird. There's so much life. But anyway, back to what I was talking about, how I really like the concept of, the Sly Cooper franchise as a whole, just that you are just one guy in a long line of thieves, and not just like thieves who, like, oh yeah, we're all thieves, we do thievy things. It's like thieves that perpetually make their family line better, like a true evolution of their family, The first guy was just really sneaky, and he's like, hey guys, I know how to be invisible. I don't know if that's actually the case, but we'll just go with it, because I think in the first game, you have an Egyptian ancestor, and that's pretty far way back, and being in America, I'm getting off topic. And then you just add to that with each generation. You add something new to this book of super secret thieving techniques, and you're not just like common thieves who are like, I'm just gonna steal. Well, they do kind of steal to steal, but they're not just like, I'm gonna steal because it's a thing. You're like, I want to steal because it's a challenge. I'm gonna steal only from master thieves to really show how awesome we are. And so, you do. I mean, in some of the games it kind of stretches. They really just need something like the first level to focus on just a heist. Just a heist. Just being a thief to be a thief. Because, after you beat levels, it was, maybe not in this game, but in the other ones, especially the first one, they're just like, oh, and this is where we just hung around, did some really cool thief stuff, and it was great. It was so fun. And now, but you only focus on the, going to places where there are bad guys, and there isn't a lot of thieving. Now that I think about it, the first game, you're just kind of a revenge story, and you're stealing back the Thievius Raccoonus from the people who stole it from you in the first place. Basically, page by page, you're stealing it back. And then the second game. What happens in the second game? What's the... I mean, I remember what happens in the second game, but what's the plot of the second game? Oh, right, I remember the plot. The plot is that you're like... the second one's pretty thievy, I guess. Not just to be thieves, though. It's like, oh no, Clockwork's parts, you know, they survived and people have them, and you're like, well, we gotta destroy them so no one else has them, but somebody already took them, so you have to go and steal these pieces of your former arch nemesis back so that you can get rid of them, and that's interesting. The third one starts out as kind of a heist, but the game is about collecting people to bring into your gang. And that's... No. Not really. And this one is about restoring the Thieves raccoons. This is like the first one all over again. No, not really. But kind of like a spiritual, not retelling, but like a spiritual nod to. Like, since this is... The first three were made by Sucker Punch Studios, and then... Oh, this is the part where yeah, there's the bottle. The first three were made by Sucker Punch. This, which were then remade by... Not remade, but reworked by Sanzaru so they could work on the PlayStation 3. And then, after that, Sucker Punch was like, yeah, since you did such a good job on that, why don't you just make the next game for us while we work on Infamous? Sanzaru was like, yeah, and since the first Sly Cooper game was about, you know, collecting the Thieves Raccoonus again and becoming a Master Thief, this one is about restoring the Thieves Raccoonus. You know, bringing it back so that... Because the pages are disappearing and everything, and now you're bringing it back. This brings gold to you. It's... I mean, it's an alright first accessory, but now we're getting close to the end of the video, guys. Thank you for listening to me rant, and I hope you have an awesome day. Or night. An awesome night, because we're insomniacs. Anyway, thank you for watching. Any feedback is good feedback, and I'll see you guys next time.